All right. So, thank you for taking time to join us today for our workshop on the topic of choosing a major. My name is Jamal Washington. I'm an academic coach in our support net office at Fresno State. And we have the great honor and privilege here to participate in today's workshop and learn from a career coach from our Career Development Center, Mark Garcia. And so with no further ado, I am going to turn over our attention to Mark so that we can learn some great resources and some great ways to make a very wise and informed decision when it comes to choosing a major.
Thank you, Jamal.
Mm-hmm.
So as mentioned, I am a graduate career coach at the Career Development Center. And today we will be talking about choosing a major. I will be using a PowerPoint, so it will be a voiceover. Some of the slides you will be able to do an interactive activity, and I do encourage it because I will talk about how to use the activity to see correlations and any sort of patterns. So give me one moment and I will share my screen. Okay, so at this time you should be seeing my PowerPoint presentation. Jamal, can you, great. So as I said, choosing a major. Regardless of where you're at in your career, college career, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, we go through this and questioning our major, wanting to know what else we can do with our major. So we will talk through that and talk about different surveys. So at this time, the first activity I'd like for you to do is called the I paper. Simply take a piece of paper, fold it in half, draw a line down the middle, and on one side, you will have I love, and on the other side, I hate. So at this point in the video, you can pause and do this little activity. Take about 3 minutes to do it. And I love and I hate can be just about anything that you want. There was a student, I love pistachio ice cream. I hate Brussels sprouts. I love the outdoors. I hate the indoors. These all have connections to your career choices and what makes you happy and what doesn't make you happy. The more that you will be happy in your career choice, the longer you'll be at it, the happier you'll be without having to find that external balance for life and work balance. Okay, so some of the services that the Career Development Center offers: career counseling, we do assessments and major career exploration, job readiness, mock interviews, resumes, even cover letters for graduate school if that's part of your trajectory. We do cover letters. We will review all of that and help you make it stronger. We'll show you techniques that are proven. With resumes, resumes are subjective, but we will help you make them stronger and give you some tools to make that an easier journey for you. We do offer workshops throughout the semester, and you can find those on our website. Also on our website is Hire Fresno State. It is an online job and internship site that we manage. On here, this page is open to Fresno State students and alumni. It is both on campus and then throughout the United States. So if you are looking for a student assistant position, it's a great place to start. Remember, it doesn't matter if you are a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, having an on-campus position really has some benefits, such as not having to leave campus and then coming back and doing the dreaded find a parking spot. Also, they know you're a student. They're going to be more than willing to work around a potential crazy schedule. We have peer mentors at the Career Center who will show up for 2 hours and then go to class and then return once their class is over. So there are some stipulations, and all of those can be found in the job description. There are some positions where they want somebody specifically in the major because you'll be working with equipment that is part of that career choice. And so it's better for you to know what you're working with. We also have career and internship fairs. This past March, right at the beginning, we had a career fair where we had over 200 employers show up. And it's a career fair so that you can learn more about careers and potential internships and speak with employers that maybe are directly related to your major. And also, don't forget when you're thinking about those internship fairs or the career fairs, that sometimes the most obvious trajectory of choices isn't always the only option. Ag department had an ag career fair, and they had a lot of jobs that applied to MCJ majors, to art majors, graphic artists. So always keep that open to exploration. We also offer the clothing closet for professional clothing. If you have a presentation, an interview coming up, you can come in. It is not a borrow, it's a keep option. So you can get 6 items over the course of the school year, and it is on constantly changing because it's based on donations. We have the Money Management Center, so they can help you with any sort of general money management questions, how to set up, how to balance your checking account, your savings account, and any sort of financial questions you have. And then, of course, we have online resources, which you can find at our main page. So as we go through these are answer true or false. I'll give you a moment just to look over the questions. Okay. If I had to make a choice right now, I'm afraid I would make a bad choice. True. So what I want you to remember is that your major does not equal your career. Your major is not the last step in your career choice. For some of you, you may be thinking of grad school, and for others, you'll be going straight into the workforce. Remember, you have transferable skills that you can pull from your major. My undergraduate degree was actually in theater, technical theater, and many of the classmates that I have are no longer in theater, but they took the skills that they learned and used them in other career choices. So keep that in mind. It's not the last step for you. How many jobs will you have after you graduate? Well, the Bureau of Labor Statistics says that we change jobs approximately every 3.1 years. Students change their majors about 3 to 5 times over the 4 years that they are undergraduate students. My supervisor changed hers 5 times. I myself did not change my major. However, within my major, I did some exploration. So you may know your major, but perhaps it's you're still exploring. So what does that look like? The linear career path on the left, chaos theory on the right. So what most people think success looks like is a straight arrow, that you have it figured out. But in reality, it looks more like on the right. As I mentioned, as I went into undergrad, into theater, I knew I wanted to do theater. I knew what my major was. But once I got into that major, it became clear that what I thought I wanted to do wasn't the best option for me for my creative outlet. So the first year looked more like the right side, where it became a little bit chaotic. I was experimenting, I was exploring, I was talking to my mentors. So don't feel that the left side is what you should be on that path. It's okay to squiggle. It's okay to follow that chaos theory. Chaos is exploration, and exploration is growth. Making up my mind about a career has been a long and difficult problem for me. For most people, this is true. And why is that? Environment. And when I talk about environment, what that usually means is you're surrounded by a lot of opinions. Stop asking everyone for advice, because most of the people that you're asking are friends and family, and they want to focus on your skills and your talents because they are being supportive. They want to give you that confidence, and there is nothing wrong with that. But you also need to think about taking a career assessment. And why a career assessment? Because those focus on your wants, your needs, your interests, and your personality. Your personality and all the others will grow. You are young. Even if you're a re-entry student, you're young in your career. So you are going to be learning new things. You will be exposed to new people, be it classmates, mentors, professors, advisors, who will give you different perspectives. And so these things will change. And it is important for you to take that into account, because going back to that whole I love and I hate aspect is the career assessment. And at the Career Development Center, we have two, the Focus 2 and then Pathways U. These focus on your interests and your needs and how do those correlate to career. Okay, so a little activity. You can just make a list, sections, A through Z, and I want you to time yourself. And in 3 minutes, and I'm being giving, I believe my supervisor and some of my other colleagues do 1 minute. I want you to write down as many careers or majors that start with the corresponding letter. For instance, A would be arts, anesthesiologist. So I just gave you 2 freebies. Do these. And then what I want you to do is I want you to take a moment and look at all of the answers that you put down. And I want you to think about, do you see patterns or correlations? Do you see connections, such as, did you list a lot of things that focus around television and movies that you watch? Did you list them based off of research that you've done in your major, and so it really correlates to your major? Perhaps it correlates to the careers that surround you with friends and family. Another one would be, say, outdoors versus indoors, helping others, the medical field. Start to notice those patterns, because it will begin to give you some insight into the way you think about career. We will come back to that aspect a little later on. So right now would be a great time to pause and do this activity. I'm going to jump through that because I would have just been giving you a bunch of freebies. Okay, I am confused about the whole problem of deciding on a major. True. This is very, very common. Realize that you are not alone in this journey, that you have a lot of advisors and mentors that are there for you. Don't be afraid to come see us, email us. If you were to come see me and I didn't have the answer for you, I would find the right person that would maybe have more insight on the specific major or career industry that you're interested in. So you don't know where to start, what the process entails, career decision-making process. Again, that's what we can help you with. So what does that process actually look like? So we use what is referred to as the DIGS outline or framework. So D is for discover, what makes me unique. I is for investigate. Is this a good fit for me? G is for engage. I know it doesn't start with a G, um, but we didn't want it to spell something different. Answer, I am passionate about this career path. And remember, passion needs to also be built. Passion does not mean easy. So realize that if something is difficult, but it is a passion of yours, it's okay for it to be difficult. Remember, all those people who are greats um, in their field, they still had to work at it. And then lastly, S is for succeed. And remember, success looks different for every individual. Success could be getting through one specific course in your major. Or for others, they're looking long term. There is no right or wrong. Each individual creates their own framework for success. So we use the DIGS wheel, and let's break this down to the 4 quarters. So the first quadrant is discover. So what does that look like? This is where we would use a career assessment. And this is where you gain knowledge about yourself. And it includes a little bit of self-awareness in the focus too. So you learn about your values, your interests, your skills, your personality, and your strengths. What's surprising about this is a lot of people have never been asked this, including myself when I did it. And so it can be a real eye-opener and help you actually see strengths that you didn't even realize, or interests, or the things that you value in a career, not just in everyday life, but what are those correlations? So what makes you unique? Your interests, your skills, your values, your personality, your leisure time. A lot of people are thrown back when they have a section of the Focus 2 that focuses on leisure. But really think about it. Look at what do you like to do in your leisure time. And if you can incorporate that into your career, imagine how happy you will be. So not everybody is going to be able to do that. But if there are aspects of that leisure time, then it is always a much happier balance. So if you would like to do the Focus 2, you are more than welcome to email me and we can get that process started. And we will go over the results with you. You are more than welcome to look at the results yourself, and we encourage it, but many people, when they look at the results, are a bit overwhelmed. So we schedule a 1-hour appointment to go over the assessments, and also how do you feel about the results. One thing I want to point out is this assessment isn't about pigeonholing you into a specific career. It's a way to help you see the options that are available. Even if you have chosen your major and you're happy with your major, it's a great way to see other aspects that may tie into your major that you maybe didn't think about or are aware of. Investigate. Excuse me. So investigating is about job shadowing, informational interviews, work environments, job market trends, career options for degrees, and that occupational research. So one question I have for everybody is, when should you begin this process? Now, think about that. Should it be your freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year? Well, the sooner, the better. A lot of people think that because they're freshmen and they have very little experience that they can't do an internship. Well, an internship is there to help you gain experience, to begin gaining knowledge. Volunteer work is a great way to introduce yourself to the world that you may be choosing to pursue. Job shadowing. And the reason these are really important is there are certain occupations that you don't always see what happens on the front lines, if you will, or behind the scenes for another, from the theater aspect. So for a teacher, most of us know what teachers do, but what about when the kids go home? Or what about their weekends? If you don't know any teachers, whether that's friends or family, and you want to become a teacher, you need to do some job shadowing, ask them questions, do some interviews, because I think many of you would be shocked at how much work goes on outside of the classroom. And that includes at the college setting too, not just in the K through 12 setting. And there are many other careers that have the same aspect, that you don't realize the yuck factor that maybe comes with a job. So this is a great time to start that exploration, so that you don't get to your fourth year in your major and you do start working on aspects for the next step and suddenly realize that you don't like this career choice. So as I mentioned, job shadowing, internships, attend career fairs and speak to employers. Ask them what kind of internships are available to somebody in your major. Join a club, and then get involved in the community. So we're going to take a little activity break. What I would like for you to do is, I would like for you to go through this. If you were in a bookstore, what section would you go to first? What would interest you in that section? If a book, what type of book? If a magazine, what kind of magazine? What page would you turn to if a book or a magazine? Why does that section interest you? And then a little brainstorming. What careers align with your interests? So take about 5 minutes to do this activity. And then again, what I would like to point out is, once you have finished the activity, look at what kind of connections there are. And if you would actually like to go over this, you can always contact me or contact somebody in the Career Development Center and discuss this little activity and how it maybe relates to career. Now, another scenario is if your section was the coffee shop that you chose instead of actually looking at books, then take a look at the diagram. Are you a people watcher? Why? What are you reading? If you're reading, and why does it interest you? And then other, and why? And whatever the other is, what is that other? Okay. Excuse me. Sorry, I feel like you may have to edit this. No, sorry. Okay, so lastly, what I'd like to point out is that this is just something that we always touch on. Reminder, what you post online lives forever. I know you hear this a lot, and you're young, and the social media is part of your daily life. But remember that simply because you get rid of it off of your social media doesn't mean it still isn't out there. So be careful, and not just for you, but what are your friends posting of you? And just think about how that could affect your career choices. If you're headed to be a teacher, a counselor, an advisor, especially working with K through 12, how are you going to be perceived? And many employers do go on and try to do a search on individuals that they're considering hiring. Stay professional at all times. This means your social media sites, email addresses. If you do not have a professional sounding email address, create one and begin using that for your contacts when it comes to job hiring. I have done job hiring in the past, and I have set aside resumes simply because of email addresses that were so unprofessional, I just couldn't give them an interview. So everybody's going to be different. I had one that was called Chocolate Wrench Monkey at yahoo.com, and I laughed, but at the same time, it just wasn't appropriate for the job that they were applying to. So they didn't get an interview. Also, voicemail messages. If an employer calls you and your voicemail is something like, you know what to do, guess what? They're probably going to hang up on you, or any other crazy little voicemail or voicemail message. So be professional. If you have one currently and you start putting out resumes, applying for jobs, go in and change it. Simply something simple, stating your name, ask them to leave a message, and you'll get back to them promptly. So where's the Career Center? You see the fountain, the Rose Garden. Down by the Rose Garden is where the two flags are. And you'll see a couple of golf carts near there. And there's a side door right there. And you can come through there and you'll be standing right in the Career Center. And then lastly, our contact info. If you would like to contact me, my contact is careercoach3@mail.fresnostate.edu. I will be happy to answer any questions that I can, and if I can't, I will put you in touch with the right person. So again, I thank you for giving me your attention and some time, and I hope this information was helpful, and we look forward to you visiting us at the Career Development Center. And I'll turn it back over to Jamal. Thank you.
Man, thank you so much for this information you've shared with us today. You've given us a lot of good information as well as resources to help with choosing a major. So thank you so much for doing this. And we look forward to connecting students to you and having this serve as something that starts that discovery of how to make the right choice when it comes to choosing a major or exploring a specific path within a major for a role that students would really like to get to. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And if I can be of any help to you, please let me know.
Yes.